And now, a tradition unlike any other, it is the 2020 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Winter League.
Bum, 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 bum.
And here to give you all of the results and all of the draws is CD Improv. And we'll start with week 1, which we consider easy standard. Very fast leveling, which is half of normal leveling. Random weapon shop prices, which you can buy a silver shield for 2 to 3 gold. Short Sherlock, which means you don't have to explore all that. No magic keys, everything is open. Repels allowed in dungeons. Scared metal slimes, so they will run more often than usual. And battle torches, the torch song, as Smashy showed off to us earlier on.
Okay, so one quick thing I will note are the quotes on easy standard. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, the seed that you just experienced may or may not reflect the usual performance of the Week 1 flags. Please consult your doctor before consuming.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that needs an asterisk down below saying not guaranteed to be easy.
I do want to, I want to point out a couple things too. That we have the battle torches. You also have battle fairy water, which means you can use either of those. We talked about that a little bit at the outset, but if you weren't here for that portion, the torches will do from 6 to 9 damage, and the fairy water will do from 8 to 16. Both of those will work even on DL2, as we saw Smashy demonstrate earlier in the race. But they won't work on metal slimes. They'll just do the coin flip damage, most of what you're used to when you have less than 130 attack power. The scared metal slimes just means that if your attack power, or strength, pardon me, is below 20, then the metal slimes will still run away. So they can run away at any point, regardless of what your statistics are.
Yeah, so it's a good way to get your feet wet and should be lead to some quick races, hopefully. But that all kind of changes into week 2. We throw everything out in week 2. And how do we mean by throwing everything out in week 2? Well, let's just say, as CD Improv will show us, we head into chaos.
But easy chaos, right?
There's no such thing as easy chaos, but some of the stuff is easy.
Well, it says it right there on the thing.
The chaos is a lie. Chaos light. What this essentially means is there will not be any keys, so all the doors are open. Short Sherlock, which is always nice. Once again, very fast XP, so 50% like normal. And random weapon prices, random XP requirements, and random monster XP and gold. Unfortunately, what is not randomized is where items are. The cover for an underground math text, I like that. Points to Monsieur Slime.
Is he in the lead now? I'm pretty sure.
I think he's in the lead by about 3 million points.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Also, one quick thing I want to note. Very fast experience, quote unquote, on that. Sometimes, well, it's chaos. You'll still get those giant chaos levels early on, but sometimes you'll be at level 10 and then suddenly you'll be at level 13.
The interaction
shop
between the interaction between the very fast XP, the very fast XP and the random XP requirements is really interesting. You'll end up, like Smashy said, with just some weird swings, and then you'll go for a long time with a drought, and then all of a sudden you'll get 3 levels. So that's always very chaotic, which I guess is appropriate.
Yep. Oh, and the map is also randomized as well, but that's a given. And then we go on to week 3. And this is Cursed Princess. So, I haven't played this much, but you gotta love the picture that we have there. But thou must.
That is great. So, to give a quick rundown of Cursed Princess, the idea is you have, for this flag set, you have open and short Charlock. So you don't need the rainbow drop, and also, like we just saw in the race, you just have one floor of Charlock. However, you don't get hurt more at any point. You'll have to learn the heal spell before you get heal more, so you'll never get an early heal more, you'll always have the heal spell first. There are 2 win conditions. You can beat the Dragon Lord normally, but most often in Cursed Princess, what you'll want to do is, as you may be familiar, when you rescue Princess Gwaelin, or if you're playing as Princess Gwaelin's sprite, then you'll rescue Princess Guimon. You'll want to, when you go back to Tantagel and return the prince or princess, the prince or princess will take one of your items from you if your inventory is full, in order that they might give you Gwaelin's Love, the GPS, right? But in this case, what you want to do is you want to have your inventory full of cursed belts and cursed belts, or just cursed belts and things that the princess won't take, key items, like the Stones of Sunlight or something else. And you want the princess to take a cursed belt from you when that happens. And if you manage to get that to happen, then you win the game right then and there. So that's their second win condition under this flag set.
Yeah, just a little heads up. There is no Stones of Sunlight, Silver Heart, or token in this flag set.
Yes, thank you for that. So you're under previous versions of the alpha, when you had that, there might be some key items, but those are out of the pool now.
Which could lead to a lot of interesting confusion as well. And by the way, just for notes, the letters, the flags, right next to where we have the number of the week, that is for easy access to be able to play these seats at home. And now,
just really quickly, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but one of the things that's not specifically listed here, but that is in effect in weeks 1 through 5, is the Repel in Dungeons flag is still active for this. That's that small R that you see there. So that's the flag for that. And so even though that's not on the list, that's in effect in weeks 1 through 5.
All right, which is good. And now let's take a look at what we have going on for week 4.
I love this graphic so much. I told CD this earlier, but I love that she chose a graphic that was Mr. and Mrs. Roper and Larry. It's amazing.
I think we're now legally obligated to do this. Come on, knock on our door.
Doody-doody-doo-doo.
We'll be waiting for you.
Doody-doody-doo-doo.
And blah, 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 Three's Company too.
Do-do-do-do-do. I promised I wouldn't sing earlier, and I just broke it. It's like 10 minutes past, and I didn't manage to keep it.
Baby, no, not.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a week 4. It's Three's Company. Charlock is open, but not short. You have Repel in Dungeons, you have Battle Torches, all that good stuff. And you still have 2 win conditions. And both of them require getting to the Dragon Lord. You can kill him conventionally, or you can bring the princess to him and accept his offer. Either one, you win.
Hence Three's Company. I think it's very aptly named.
But unfortunately, we don't have the greatest that is Suzanne Summers.
Well, you can only fit 3 people on there, you know? Week 5. So the Week 5 flag set is referred to as vanilla-ish. So this is the only flag set in which the map is not randomized. It'll be the map that you're familiar with. The layout will be the same. However, the locations will change. So for instance, Tantagel Castle's starting spot might be where Ramulder is, or where Cantlin is, or where anything else is. That's all of those locations are shuffled. The weapon shops, however, are not randomized. So if you're used to finding Say the Flame Sword and Silver Shield, only available in that Lock, Chop, and Cantlin. Those will be in the same locations in this flag set. The spell learning is also not randomized, so that means you'll go through the usual sequence that you would in vanilla. You don't learn Heal More until 17, so even if you have the stats to go before then, you still got to keep going to get that very important spell. But very fast experience helps mitigate that to a certain extent. Just like we saw in this previous race, that's the same experience track. And also the addition of speed hacks. So that means the text goes by very quickly. Your battles go much faster as a consequence. So a really interesting flag set, very similar to a flag set that was raced last year in the league that I think proved quite popular. So really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that you don't get hurt more until level 19 in the seed, so yeah.
Yeah, you're operating mostly on melee. Hurt more is not going to come until late, and presumably, not that tonight's seed had anything to do with that, but usually you're going to get to your go level before you get hurt more in the seed, most of the time.
Yep, and so this could be a bit of a benefit to those who have mastered this. This will be a benefit to those who have mastered the vanilla game. And now we get to the scoring system for weeks 1 through 5. If you finish first, you get 5 points. Finish second, 3 points. Finish third, 2 points, and 1 point for finishing fourth if there is a 4-person race. And points are the same for either 3 or 4 player races. After the way we have things set up for this winter league, we are going to have 8 4-people divisions and groups, 8 4-person groups and 3 3-person groups.
Yep, exactly. And then those are changed up every week and are re-rolled in a certain way. So the first 2 weeks will be completely randomized groups. We will do the whole pretend ping pong ball thing that CD is going to do here in a little bit with the earthrandom.org. But weeks 3 and 5 will both be position rounds, and so that means that the top 4 will race against each other, and then the next 4, and then so on and so forth, to kind of sort out the points rankings as we go through the weeks. So an interesting way that the groups are selected as well.
And we're all looking forward to that. So just to let everybody know that even in the 3-point group, 3-person groups, it's wide open.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we expect this to be a very competitive league. A lot of really talented racers will be competing. So, it's just I'm really looking forward to not only participating but also viewing as we go forward to these races here. We're going to take a look at the playoffs right now, week 6 and 7. So the top 16, we do have 41 entrants in the tournament. We'll trim that down to the top 16 players after 5 weeks. The races will, of course, continue to be quad races with 4 players. And the top 2 finishers from each group will move on to the next week in weeks 6 and 7. And I think we're going to talk about those flags in just a moment.
Right, and something to note, in the event of a tie, like if they finish dead on, we will have a tiebreaker race. Which I don't know if we know the flags for that yet, but I assume will be a really quick one.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that a little bit later in the presentation, so we'll hold that thought for the moment and take a look, I think, now at week 6 flags. So week 6 is going to be really interesting. This is a flag that is new to the alpha version of the randomizer, as so many of these are, but we're looking at permanent repel. And so what that means is literally what's right on the tin there. Whenever you don't have to cast a repel spell, you just automatically repel stuff. So it means you have to manage your defense really carefully to ensure that you still have battles that you can actually fight. This is a really interesting flag set. I'd be interested, Smashy or Angel, have you played much of this flag set yet with permanent repel on? And if you have, what's kind of your thoughts about how this might play out?
Yeah, I've played a couple of permanent repel flags, and like you said, it's about managing your defense is important, and I think it is a very good idea to save often in a permanent repel flag if you don't have like overwhelming strength or a hurt more or a heal more. You will want to save often because you don't want to get Erdrick's arm and then, oh wait, suddenly I just started repelling a ton of monsters because I just gained 28 defense.
Yeah, I mean, it can be, since the armor can be in any chest now, of course, that means that opening literally anything could almost wreck your run, really, if you're not careful about saving frequently. So that's an excellent point about how you need to play that.
Absolutely, and this kind of gives some love to the lesser bought items like the clothes and the small shield.
Yeah, exactly. If you're really careful about micromanaging that stuff, then you can really put yourself in a good position for this flag set. On to week 7, and week 7 is a setting that has been around for a while, but it hasn't been utilized much in formal play yet, and it's challenge level 5. So we have short Charlock for this one. The slide says no numbers required, and that's because there are no numbers. So when you play on challenge level 5, you don't get to see any numbers at any time. So you have to kind of know the game well enough to be able to find your way around without knowing how much damage you're doing or how much HP you have. There are various methods of doing this, and I could probably spend a really long time talking about these flags, but really, just there are no numbers, so you've got a lot of work to do in this one.
This is some good pen and paper use to be had.
As Zarnax has pointed out, something that I did not mention, the numbers do return for the DL2 fight. So that's one of the methods that you can use to see some of your statistics at least. You won't be able to see your attack and defense, but you'll at least see your HP. You can confirm your MP. There are other ways to do that, like casting Heal More to see how many Heal Mores you have and so forth. But like I said, if I spent too much time talking about this one, we'd be here for an additional, I don't even know how long. So that's what you need to know about challenge level 5. And any additional thoughts, anybody else in chat right now?
Taking all the time to go over that, we'd probably be here by week 5.
You're not wrong.
And something that CD Improv mentions in the chat, getting back to week 7, there will only be 2 groups running the flag set, and both seeds they'll be used will be checked to make sure the search spot is not a required item. So that's good forward thinking. And now, for the finals, the final 4 runners will compete in 2 races and be scored based on what order they finished in. Scores will be commuted for the 2 races, and if necessary, a tiebreaker race will occur to determine the winner. And I would like to know what flags we will be using for the final seed. When you, Archfield, Angel, Smashy?
For sure.
Yep.
So the week 8 flags. Earlier we had easy chaos, also in quotes. Here we have almost chaos. So the race 1 flags are almost chaos. Chaos except there's no monster stat randomization. So all the monster stats that you're used to, HP, MP, various resistances, those are all the same. But normal experience progression. So this will be the same as vanilla. If you want to get to level 17, it's going to take you 16,000 experience points, so the grinding is a little bit slower in this one. And this one also has the heal and heal before heal more, and hurt before hurt more flags active, which means that you'll never start with either of the mores. You might start with heal or hurt, but those are always going to show up in the spell progression before the heal more spell. Heal will always show up before heal more. Hurt will always show up before hurt more.
And that is always good to know, and that will be a really, really good race for race number 1. But it all changes in race number 2.
So race number 2, I would say this is possibly a fan favorite. And a favorite of some racers as well, the Big Swamp.
The horrors to be had with Big Swamp. Normal XP, which hurts even more. But you have to get heal and hurt before you get the mores. And battle torches are back, baby.
So this one is basically it's essentially normal. You have the slower experience progression, and one would expect that this is kind of a slog. It feels like half the seeds I roll end up like Big Swamp seeds anyway, so I should be accustomed to this. Not that I'll be around at this point. But Big Swamp, I think people really like Big Swamp. I'm not sure how much people like to race Big Swamp, but if you're looking for a way to kind of differentiate here, I mean, Big Swamp is always it makes for an interesting race at the very least.
Yep. And whoever comes out on top after the two races will be the grand champion of the Winter League.
Unless there's a tie.
I'd hate to see the tie stipulations, but I guess we're going to right now.
Yeah, so here's the tiebreaker flags we were talking about. Very fast experience points. Random XP, open or short Charlock, Cursed Princess, and Three's Company all in effect. So you can win the seed in any of the win conditions possible. Also, speed hacks with the random weapon prices, no keys required. So it's set up to be a jet. It's set up with 3 win conditions, and you just have to be the first person across one of those finish lines, and you'll win the tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker flag set is really interesting. I know there are some people out there who have actually run some of these seeds already, and they look just kind of fascinating because there's so many decisions you can make about how you want to approach the seed. So if there's a tiebreaker, that's kind of must-see viewing, I think.
Oh, it's going to be great viewing no matter what, not just for the tiebreaker if there is one, but throughout the entire tournament. Or throughout the entire...
No doubt, no doubt.
Good luck, have fun, everyone. And now... C Improv is setting up the capture, so we're going to go to black for a moment, and then we will have our draws. Kind of feel like we need the Champions League music playing in the background for these draws.
That would be amazing. They're very careful about that theme too. It's like how you can't say the actual name of the big game we were talking about earlier.
No, they're fine with Champions League.
You can I think you can say Champions League. I think playing the song, they didn't let anybody use the song until very recently. Anyway.
They'll just play it on kazoos.
I didn't know your kazoo was your shirt sleeve.
That wasn't my shirt sleeve, it was my mouth, actually.
Your mouth applied to your shirt sleeve.
No, my shirt never touched my mouth. Oh, we just love being silly here at Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
Yeah, we just have a black screen so far. If you look carefully, you might find the Demon Knight.
It's like finding a polar bear in a snowstorm. It's like finding a Demon Knight on a black background.
But on that note, here on this list, we have all 41 racers that are taking part. Looking at the numbers, Hangry Canuck, Braxius Muse, Will Wagner Music, Smashy, the Seawolf 1, Angel FM, Scorpion Max.
Archfield
It's a great
Monk.
Yep. Brian Williams, 42. Cyberdark, 86. Bismarck, 189.
You've only read like the first 10 names and I'm already terrified.
You should be terrified.
I'm usually terrified. It's fine.
I don't have to be terrified because I'm not playing. I'm just commentating because of health.
Wow, you're so lucky, except for that part.
Yeah, health.
Now I feel bad.
Now we're going to randomize this 3 times, and there we'll get our there you go. Okay, here we go. We have our draws.
List.
It's terrifying. In Group 1, J-Man 1865, Bismarck 189, Lord of the Synth, and the Sea Wolf 1.
So the first thing I'm taking away from this is that Lord of the Synth clearly stands out because he doesn't have a number in his name. Just for, like very
one of these things is not like the other.
Possibly, but Lord of the Synth is also a really good runner. So is the Sea Wolf. I mean, you got a pretty good group there to start out with. And
yeah, I mean, J-Man has been doing pretty well too, and I'm less familiar with Bismarck, although I know he's participated in some of the casual races, so I think that's a pretty good group shaping up the first one there.
Exactly, and then we get Group 2. Kate, is it Kaiten or Kaiten 619? Kaiten. Yes. Sassage Link 83, Vralis, and Guelph 35. Now, I've seen Vralis run quite a bit. I'm not as familiar with Kaiten, Sausage Link, or Guelph, but it does look like to be a really good match.
Yeah, so just for the really quick rundown, Kaiten's played in a lot of the tournaments in the past, and Gulf has run several intermittently in the casual races and has proven himself to be pretty good. Sausage Link, however, I'm unfamiliar with entirely. So that's an interesting group with kind of a lot of wild cards, I think. But looking at this next group, we've got Amazing Toaster, High Spirits, Furon Burgundy, and Ursine Dassure. So wow, that is a group.
That is a group of death right there. I don't think it's the group of death. Burgundy performed really well in the Summer League. Amazing Toaster, High Spirits, always great runners. Ursine Dacier, not a one that I'm familiar with, but I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Yeah, she's a good runner. She's a good runner too, and I mean that's a really solid group right there.
Yeah, those are 4 names I've heard. Of course, High Spirits. I think he's the returning champ of the league.
Returning champ of Winter League, nice. Group 4, Angel FM, Centroid 41, Scorpion Max, and Jay Coper.
So speaking of groups of death, oh my goodness. So if you're Angel FM, of course, just won the race here this evening, and he is presently the top-ranked SRL racer. And we have Centroid 41, who is an excellent racer in his own right, and Jay Coper's been racing DWR for a very long time. I think the interesting one in this group, because we're kind of familiar with the other 3, but Scorpion Max, I think, has really only played in last year's Winter League. But he made it to the semifinals, I want to say, and he did a really good job. So we don't see him as much in the casual races, and he did not play in the summer tournament. But he's a really good racer as well. So that's an excellent group, a very difficult group.
And now we have what I'm considering the group of death.
Remember earlier when I made that analogy about like a group of death, and then there's like one kind of country that nobody's ever heard of before in the World Cup? We have Jackamus Wedge, Brian Williams 42, Archfield Monk, and Game Boy F9. So I'm going to refrain from commenting here because I'm in this group, but I'm feeling a little bit like the tiny country nobody's ever heard of. Brian Williams 42 is one that people might be less familiar with, but Brian's fantastic, and he's really come on strong in the last couple of months in the casual circuit. I've been beaten by him enough times to know. And of course, Jack and Game Boy are two really experienced racers, and at times have been, Game Boy's been at the top of the rankings, and Jack's fantastic. So Archfield should feel a little uncomfortable right now. By the way, just so nobody thinks I'm calling out Archfield unnecessarily, I'm Archfield. So that should put that in context. Moving on to the next group here, we have Leggy Starscream, Smashy, CD Improv, and Tilo Tilo. So this also a good group. I have not seen Leggy Starscream race at any point, but of course we know Smashy was just here, finished second in the race tonight. CD is our race streamer tonight and rolled this up. And Tilo is, of course, one of the tournament administrators and is an excellent racer in his own right. So another good group here. Looking forward to seeing the action from that one.
Hello, CD Improv. How are you on this Sunday, really late night?
So
Just
Smashy,
talking to the chat.
any thoughts on your group there, Smash?
Well, like you said, I have not heard of Leggy Starscream, but Tilo Tilo is good. CD Improv, we know races. Well, really, you can't take anybody for granted because I just have to point to Angel FM. Angel FM came out of nowhere and just started taking names, and Scorpion Max as well.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If you take anybody for granted in this, you're going to have a bad time.
That's for sure. I mean, nobody's entering this tournament who's not going to be a tough out. So even if you haven't seen that person race before, even if they don't have a single race to their credit on SRL, they can still be a really dangerous opponent. So take anybody for granted at your risk, for sure.
Right, and I just wanted to say something about Jacquemus Wedge in the previous seed. He's looking for revenge. He was the number one seed in the summer league and got Tampa Bay Lightninged out of the tournament, so to speak. Number one seed upended by the 32 seed, so looking for blood there. Now we get to group number 7. Tristal MTG, Captain Green 7, Asher 611, and Mr. Holmes. This is group 7, and Holmes, that is kind of like, that was last summer's runner-up.
Or Mr. Holmes, yeah, he's claimed a couple of tournament championships at this point. So we know what he's all about. I mean, he's one of the most renowned racers of this randomizer. Tristal and Captain Green, both very experienced as well. And this is, I believe, Asher's first entrance into one of the tournaments or into the league. So I'll be interested to see there. I know he's been practicing a lot. He's quite active in Discord. So this is an interesting group as well. And it's just, I think it speaks to the depth of this field as we're seeing as we kind of read through here, that there's just so many dangerous runners out there.
Absolutely. And now the final group of 4, we have Freitief, Ragai 3745, Will Wagner Music, and Vela V. That, to me, that's just a pick 'em right there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Ryguy's great. He's experienced all the Dragon Warrior randomizers. He really knows his way around. He's one of the best racers of DWR. Will, we saw tonight, also extremely good Value V, has made a name for himself as well. He's performed quite well in tournaments in the past. And Freiteef is one of those ones, again, a wild card, but just because someone's a wild card and has not raced a lot or at all publicly does not mean that they can't come in and put forward a really good effort. So this group also looking very dangerous.
Absolutely. That is the last group of 4. The rest will be groups 3 to round things out. We have Ali Gerbrap, Ermacy, and Zarnax 42. Now, Ali Gerbrap and Zarnax 42 I know pretty well from the Summer League. Ermacy is somebody who I'm not too familiar with. Are any of you familiar with Ermacy?
I am a little bit. I know that they've been active on Discord as well as they've been learning the game, and I believe at this point they have a couple of races under their belt casually. But I'm not personally familiar with them. I know that they, like I said, have a couple of races down. But again, here another wild card, just somebody who you don't really have a good bead on how they might perform. And of course, we know Zarnax is a great DWR racer. Has a lot of experience with this randomizer, as does Ali Gerbrap. So an interesting group of three there. That's our first group of three.
And apparently, this is Ermacy's first event. Ran a few races, but first event. So who knows how this will go. And we wish those three the best. And the second group of three, Braxius Muse, Diabetes II, and the Hangry Canuck.
So Brax, I believe, played in last year's league. Does not race a ton casually, but he's a very good racer. I've been in a couple of casual races with him. Diabetes II, or Beatus for short, I know him pretty well. He's kind of been a regular on the casual circuit lately and is a very, very good racer. And the Hangry Canuck, we know quite well. He's races in most of these Dragon Warrior Randomizer events, the tournaments and the leagues, and he's very capable as well. So another group of three here that's shaping up to be a good race.
Absolutely. And then we get to the final group of three, and we're getting Murderer's Row here for the final three. Three high-performing names: Monsieur Slime, Cyberdark 86, and Bobski 021.
Yeah, so Monsieur Slime is one of those racers who's come on really strong. His actual first action was in the tournament, and I remember that because I played him in the tournament, and since then he's just continued to climb the ranks. He's up approaching the top 10 in the SRL rankings. So if you don't know Monsieur Slime yet, you will probably pretty soon. Cyberdark 86, of course, races a lot as well, and he's actually the lead tracker for the DWR community, so he's quite well known and knows the game quite well. And Bobski, I think people sometimes sleep a little bit on Bobski, but he's really good. Like if you watch him, he does a lot of speedruns of other things too. Bobski's very talented, and he's been involved a little more casual in the casual races lately. So Bobski will definitely be a tough out from this tournament.
Absolutely. And if I'm remembering correctly, Bobski was the one who, in the summer tournament, I remember this, went to Dragon Lord with around 87 HP, beat Dragon Lord, and eliminated Nest cards from the tournament.
That was Jay Coper.
I think that was Jay Coper, actually.
Oh, yeah, that was Jay Coper?
Yeah, that was
wow.
Jay Coper.
So that just makes the fourth group of four: Jay Coper, Scorpion Max, Angel FM, and Centroid 41 just that much more dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. There's your groups. This is shaping up to be a really fun league. I can't wait to get started in it. Not only as a participant, but also as a viewer, and hopefully helping out with some restreams. So that'll probably just about do it. Any closing thoughts here, Sigma, Angel, Smashy, before we wrap things up here on the restream side?
All I know is going to be very good races all throughout. These various groups are just insane. Group 5 with Jackamus, Brian Williams, Archfield, Game Boy F9. That's going to be a real one that you want to watch out for, especially the Group 8, Frighty, Guy, Wu Wagner, and Velu V. That is another good group. Just all these groups, there's a lot of talented runners. Unfortunately, a lot of great runners are not going to make it past the group stages, but who knows what could happen. And I just want to thank everybody for watching and going through these incredible things. And we're going to be rating High Spirits, who will have a great run in the group stages, I'm sure. He is playing Dragon Quest VIII, so it should be a lot of fun.
All right, so we're going to get ready to raid here for my commentary partner Sigma Fan, and for our two race participants Angel and Smashy, who stopped by in the booth to help us out as we close things out here with the league preview. Thank you so much for that. Our tracker was Cami on Renikai. Our restreamer was CD Improv. I'm Archfield Monk. Again, thank you so much for joining us here on Randomania tonight. Enjoy High Spirits on his Gospel Ring % run of Dragon Warrior 8. Have a good night, everybody.